Say it isn't so.
Then we are live, Clue, once again. We are waiting for you.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, right there. So, yeah.
I will do the introduction.
Yes, I'm
Welcome to
ready. I'm ready.
Chaos and Amazement, where we explore the impact of digital technology on our daily lives. And my name is Verheyen, and this, ladies and gentlemen,
Is Chloe Willaerts the one and only? And together we've built socialrunners.com, which is a platform, a marketplace where marketing professionals like me can book creative professionals like Phil.
yes,
How was your week?
better.
You look a lot cleaner than last week.
Yeah. No, I have a podcast in the evening as well, so I thought I
Oh,
need to
so
change because
you took a shower and everything.
yeah, because it's full body there over there, the podcast. So
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yeah.
but fully clothed.
Fully
I
clothed.
hope.
Yeah, of
All
course,
right.
of course.
I just before I came here, I had my mind blown, and that was a long time ago. I mean, you get used to a lot of innovation in the field of artificial intelligence, for example, or the kind of videos that creators come up with today. But this level, that's been a while.
So
So
you have a lot of amazing news this week because I saw the
yeah.
headline.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, the good thing is we tend to focus on Apple's event, but Meta also has an event which was earlier
Wednesday?
this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Connect, and they launched. Well, in short, they are still very serious about the metaverse, and they're integrating AI in a lot of services. But that's not why my mind was blown away.
Okay.
So one of the podcasters that we've mentioned quite often is Lex Friedman. And Lex Friedman, he's interviewed all the great minds on this planet, and Elon Musk. Uh, um, and it's not the first time that he's interviewed Mark Zuckerberg, but this time the interview was not done in the usual dork studio. So usually Lex Friedman uses, I don't know, a black velvet curtain as a background, and that's about it. So there's no, it's a very clean, minimalist setup that he has in his interviews. And then usually the person he's interviewing is in the same room on the other side of the table. So basically the same setup as we have, except that this time he interviewed Mark Zuckerberg, and they were both wearing one of those Oculus headset. They call it different now. Uh,
They changed the
no,
name.
no, no, they haven't changed. I just forgot the name of the Meta headset. So we were impressed by Apple's
Meta
vision,
Quest.
the Quest. So they're both wearing Meta Quest. I'm guessing Quest 3 because that's the one that was announced at Meta Connect, right? So, and they're both wearing it. So Zuckerberg is wherever he is, and then Lex Friedman just can't get over the fact that the experience. So the remember when we made fun of Meta's avatars in the metaverse, because they looked a lot like children's toys and they didn't have any legs at first, and so everyone was making fun of Meta's metaverse ambitions. It looked like they changed the name of the whole company from Facebook to Meta to explicitly, embody this ambition of becoming one of the major players in the field of metaverse. And then, yeah, I have a Quest too. Do you have a Quest? During the
No.
pandemic, some people
I'm,
picked it
I'm
up.
gonna buy the Vision Pro.
Well, just you
Oh.
haven't. Have you already ordered it? Because
No, it's
my recommendation now is not the Vision Pro. Will be the first generation of this type of device, and will have a lot of issues. While the Quest is now already in its third generation, they've come a far way from the Oculus, and they've had
True,
the Quest
yeah.
Pro, so the chips are getting better, it's getting lighter. But that's still not why I'm talking about it. So
You're making us curious.
I know, right? So the interview is being done, and they're both being represented by an avatar to each other. But this avatar is super realistic. So it's almost as if you're watching someone during a FaceTime call.
So it's based on
a scan.
Unreal Engine,
Well,
MetaHuman.
that's actually very smart the way they do it. So you have to thoroughly scan your face. The focus is very much on the face right now. I'm guessing that once you get the face right and the facial expressions, because it looks very natural when you look at the recording. We forgot to press record.
No, I got something to add. I also scanned a face last week
Oh,
to I don't know if you can
is
go
it the
on.
face of someone who is already there or someone who is
No.
on her way?
Yeah. No. It was one famous Belgium guy.
Yeah.
Dennis Blackmagic.
Oh my God, the
Yeah.
porn director.
Yeah. I scanned his face
You
because
scanned his
yeah, we're
face?
gonna do something
In the metaverse.
Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be great.
But we call it spatial web because I think how Apple announced it is much better than Metaverse.
Spatial computing, yeah. During Connect, Meta also used spatial computing, but in the conversation with Lex Friedman, Mark Zuckerberg uses mixed reality. So the thing is, you need, if you want to remember, I see these ads by Meta where they claim that surgeon, it looks good.
Yeah.
So this, ladies and gentlemen, his real name is Dennis Burkas, but he is known as Dennis Blackmagic, and he is basically famous in Belgium as a porn director.
How realistic this is.
Yeah, it's
just
the only thing missing is his cigarette because he's always smoking.
Oh,
He's a heavy chain smoker.
No, it's
He's quit smoking?
Yeah, no, it's not quitting, but less cigarettes.
Oh, that's good. He's cut back. Anyway, I still want to talk about Mark Zuckerberg's interview. So the face looks really, and I want to get that right. So the thing is, and technically speaking, that's actually very smart. You need to take this very thorough scan, including all of your facial expressions. But the information of they call it a codec avatar. So it's coded and then it gets decoded on the other side of the fence. So the information about your face, your eyebrows, and how they move is stored on your side, so that the signal in between me and you can be very minimal. It's all it needs is on your side. Do I have some makeup here? Because I did my makeup in my car.
No, if you just smile,
then it knows that usually your muscles will move along in a particular way. So it doesn't, like with a video call, a lot of the information has to be sent through. It's being compressed in between and being decompressed on the other side, which is why Mark Zuckerberg calls it codec avatar. But it's you just have to explain the software on the other side, how your lips usually move when your eyes signal the fact that you're smiling, which is very, very smart. And the result is very convincing, because in the video that Lex Friedman uploaded to his channel, very often you have this triptych where you see him sitting in his physical studio wearing the headset. In the middle, what the VR technology sees, which is more like the grid of the face. And then what Mark Zuckerberg sees. And the thing is, I've seen a lot of Lex Friedman interviews, and he is. It's funny, by the way, because it's an interview between the two most monotonously speaking people. I mean, they're both. Lex Friedman almost never smiles.
Yeah.
And then of course Mark Zuckerberg is some people suspect that he's an android, right? Because he shows so few. And these two are talking to each other, and they're both very excited about the technology, but they barely show it, and they also never raise their voice and like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Nothing of that. So that's funny, but it's an interesting conversation, because the thing about Lex Friedman is, for example, English is not his native language. I think he's used to speaking Russian. And so sometimes when he wants to express a rather complex thought, he closes his eyes.
Yeah. And
the way you look at, let's call it the codec avatar, the way this avatar does it, it's very, very convincing.
Yeah. Can we show something?
Yeah, it's if you so Willaerts.substack.com is basically the show notes of this. So just a few first. That's the avatar.
Mark Zuckerberg.
What?
Inside the metaverse. Mark and I are hundreds of miles apart from each other in physical space, but it feels like we're in the same room because we appear to each other as photorealistic codec avatars in 3D with spatial audio. This technology is incredible, and I think it's the future of how human beings connect to each other in a deeply meaningful way on the internet. These avatars can capture many of the nuances of facial expressions that we humans use to communicate emotion to each other. Now, I just need to work on upgrading my emotion expressing capabilities of the underlying human. This is the Lex Friedman podcast. And now, dear friends, here's Mark Zuckerberg.
So this is the real image. By the way, the voice was not AI generated.
It was his real voice.
It was his real voice, but he was sitting down when he was recording this. His avatar is standing up.
This is so great.
So we have a rare Lex Friedman smile,
Lighting change.
a rare Mark Zuckerberg natural smile, open smile.
What is this?
And it doesn't feel awkward to be really close.
And this is the avatar.
It does. I actually moved you back a few feet before you got into
Well,
the headset. You were like right here.
I don't know if people can see this, but this is incredible. The realism here is just incredible. Where am I? Where are you, Mark? Where are we?
So he
The
goes.
future is
he
here,
just-
Flo.
He dives.
In this place.
He immediately dives into the deep end of what is consciousness, what is reality. So that's what the conversation is about. And Mark Zuckerberg talks about the applications. So obviously, the most obvious applications are the type of games you can play with the current Quest. That will remain the same, but it's getting closer and closer to becoming a fairly decent replacement of Zoom meetings, I think. And to Mark Zuckerberg, it's not either or. So you can have meetings, environments, it's mixed reality. So some people can be there with this type of realistic avatar because they got scanned.
Yeah.
Others can be there with, the puppets, the very primitive 3D avatar. And then others can be there physically in the room.
Yeah, I'm also involved with
with Metaverse. Well,
Metaverse.
the standards just got really high right now.
Well, at first, if you want to create an avatar that's a digital twin of you, that is really, really expensive. You need to pay 20,000 euros for this.
Yeah.
If you want a developer that creates your body with all the hairs and the beard and stuff like that. But now with an app like this is by my phone, and then it goes to MetaHuman. From
MetaHuman.
NVIDIA.
You can create avatars in MetaHuman that are that can live inside a lot of environments like games.
Yeah,
for
and
example.
the realism is incredible. And if you do all the facial expressions, I can imagine that it can be a one-on-one copy, like we see on the screen.
So the Vision Pro's price was somewhere I don't remember. Was it
$349.99.
Yeah,
But
$3,000 or $4,000 euros. The Quest 3, the one that was announced, will be around 500. So that's a whole new market segment. And the thing about coding, decoding, so having data on both sides, and then the connection between them doesn't have to be that heavy. Is that you don't need a lot of hardware to process this. You need a good chip to decode it, to code it and to decode it. But you don't need a lot of expensive lenses and hardware the way Vision Pro. The Vision Pro's ingredients, to call it like that, all of them are like top quality hardware, lenses, cameras, etc. This thing doesn't need it, really. So that's one thing. And they've launched a number of other things where I think, that's pretty lame. Like, for example, there are avatars, but not realistically looking like this ones, but avatars that can live inside existing Meta products. Like they could be like chatbots inside Threads, for example, and then some of them don't have a name and they don't have a face. They just help you with tasks, right? And then you have others that are based on Snoop Dogg, and Snoop Dogg can be the dungeon master in one of your favorite games. And then you have this one, and they all can coexist. The main point of Meta is that they can roll these things out over billions of people, and billion in the sense of the one bigger than a million. And and that allows them to learn about how in general people smile and how wide they want the smile to be, so they can now use their large customer base by deliberately offering the hardware for 500 euros as the largest testing ground for mixed reality. And that's what blew my mind.
Yeah, I think in a few years we will have a Ray-Ban on our face, and
Exactly.
we look to each other. Then you don't need to drive all over here.
Yeah, I spent an hour and 45 minutes in my car today, and it's an electric car, as you know, and not a Tesla, unfortunately, because the range is fairly limited. And then I arrive here in this village,
in this village, yeah,
and
farmer's place.
the 2 charging points that I usually use were taken.
Oh, God.
So that's gonna be a long night. But the thing about the device is an interesting remark, because OpenAI also had like a great week. They announced a lot of innovations as well. And that surprised me, because last year the big announcement, ChatGPT, was in November. So now we're only September, and they're coming out with some, groundbreaking things. But I'll get back to those. There's an announcement, not just a rumor, that Jony has been hired by OpenAI. They have a shitload of money. I mean, they have investors. Everyone is like throwing money at OpenAI because they're so promising. And so some of the money they're apparently using to hire Jony Ive to work on a device. And then there's a third guy, I forgot his name, but he's the one who is in charge of that Japanese bank, SoftBank,
Yeah.
that burned billions of dollars on WeWork. Remember that?
Yeah.
So same guy. So they have Japanese money guy. They have the boy genius, Sam Altman, OpenAI, and then you have like when it comes to electronics, and you look at like persons who are still alive, I think Jony Ive is the one that everyone looks up to.
He created the iPhone, basically.
Yeah,
the design.
I also love the way he pronounced
Yeah.
aluminum, because he's British. So he doesn't say aluminium, he says aluminum. Anyway, they're very secretive about what exactly they're going to build. Maybe they don't even know yet. But it's an interesting combination. Japanese money guy, boy genius, and then the biggest. I mean, Philip Stark is also great, but he doesn't make devices. Jony Ive does, and so everyone is thinking new smartphone AI based. That the OS, the operating system, is basically AI. That will be logical. But I don't think it's going to be a smartphone. I'm pretty sure that when Jony Ive left Apple, he signed something that said, don't build something that looks like an iPhone. So I'm guessing some sort of headset. Why not? I mean, we still have to wear something that looks more like half a helmet right now. But I think the form factor, if with what we just talked about, the processing power is being moved to the edges, then the device itself doesn't have to be as heavy as it used to be.
I saw a keynote, I think 2 years ago already, from Snapdragon. And they built also chips. And they are working on a device, or no, chips that they can build in the sunglasses of the Ray-Ban with the feather.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited, to be honest. I'm not sure what these three will do, but I didn't even know they would ever meet. This is a combination I wouldn't have thought of. So you put like the person with the best sense of aesthetics when it comes to electronic devices in the room with a boy genius, and then someone who has like more money than he can ever spend. Put these three in a room, what happens?
Magic.
Something interesting. Facebook, so they already deliberately announced the Quest 3 and the fact that it was only 3 or 4 days before the Apple keynote, so they know what they're doing. But now the whole vision behind it, I have to admire Mark Zuckerberg. Everyone, to be honest, I was one of them. I thought he had made a big strategic mistake by putting a lot of the eggs of what used to be Facebook in the Metaverse basket, because it's been awfully quiet about Metaverse. Everything that was like big hype 1 or 2 years ago is now, awkward. And Metaverse was one of them. It was very quiet.
Mhm.
And then this, this might be.
It's good that they kept it quiet because it was only tumbling down. But people who see the evolution of the web
Mhm.
see that it's coming. Virtual and mixed reality.
Maybe
It's
all
there.
it takes is a $500 device.
Yeah, but it's still a helmet, and that's what I don't like.
It's already
I want
thinner.
to look at you, and I want to see your socials, and I want to
Yeah.
just look at it and save and stuff
It's
like
the
that.
mixed part that fascinates
Yeah.
me most.
Yeah.
Is that some people can be here physically in the same room, and then others can be here as a hologram. They use the word hologram a
Or a
couple of
concert
times.
is also
Exactly.
amazing.
Yeah.
Holographics can be
Mingle
much-
with the
yeah.
crowd,
Yeah.
and so it has to reach a certain threshold before it can really change the lives of people who use it. And we haven't had such a use case with the Metaverse yet.
Yeah.
And I think maybe by bringing out a device, the Quest 3, that only costs $500 more or less, plus the fact that they have this large footprint, they have so many users, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram together. I mean, they already have a lot of users that they could try and drag in. This might be it. So I'm just like Lex Friedman, although he doesn't show it. I'm pretty
Oh,
excited.
he had a
about this
smile.
one.
He had
He
a
had a
smile.
smile. He showed his teeth. So yeah, and yeah, I'm impressed. So good job.
Nice.
Meanwhile, at Google, so good news and bad news. So the bad news is there's another one for the Google Graveyard. So the Google Graveyard, there are 2 graveyards that I sometimes visit. One graveyard is the Ben and Jerry's ice cream graveyard. They do have one.
Okay.
Sometimes they will bring out a flavor and nobody wants it. I remember one called Sweaty Balls, Sweaty Balls, and for some reason didn't sell.
Mm.
And they have at least a virtual, maybe also a physical graveyard. And then Google, there's also a Google Graveyard, not run by Google, but it's a thing, And there are some things in there like Google Reader. I still miss Google Reader every day. What else is there? Google Plus, obviously, has a whole plot in the Google Graveyard. And there's a new grave there. It's
Bart?
Google Podcasts.
Yeah.
Technically, it was there, but when we push our podcast, we didn't even think of Google Podcasts. I think that space has been claimed completely by Spotify. I think for a large part, and they're migrating everything towards YouTube, and that's
Yeah.
actually a good move. I
Yeah,
think
it's smart.
it's smart because YouTube is a very important platform.
They also added
for
to feed
podcast.
the tab podcast as well.
Yes. And so my students, one of their assignments is create a podcast, and they have to send me a link, and it's either a Spotify link or a YouTube link that they have to send me. So I was also looking only at these 2. There's, technically speaking, of course, Apple Podcast as well, which is, well, some call it crapware. You buy an iPhone and it's there. It's there. It's the little purple icon podcast is on your iPhone, whether you want it
For
or not.
many years already.
Yes. That's probably also a big one. But for me, in my head, it was, Spotify and YouTube. So I think it's a good move. Somewhat, YouTube came up with a number of interesting things. The biggest news, I think, is an CapCut Killer app. Because they see that TikTok is taking away a lot of the attention, and not just 15-year-old girls anymore. It's becoming mainstream. They launched Shorts quite a while ago. YouTube Shorts, I notice, are becoming more and more prominent in my YouTube feed as well. We should have Shorts as well.
Yeah.
Of this one.
I need to finish the building.
Yeah, I
Sometime.
understand. There's an app called repurpose.io that should make it easy to create shorts from.
I have a little bit of ADHD, so I need to sit in
like,
my
oh,
space.
look, a squirrel.
Yeah, I need to be in my space to
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
totally creative.
Yes. It's fine. YouTube came out with a separate app called YouTube Create. So you already have YouTube Studio, and not a lot of, except YouTubers, of course, they do know it, but a lot of people don't realize that there's a limited amount of things that you can do in YouTube Studio.
It's more
like
analytics, but you can add subtitles.
add some basic editing, for
Yeah,
example, as
yeah.
well. But YouTube Create, I haven't tried it, I haven't downloaded it yet. He relies heavily on AI. So what I'm expecting is that I'm expecting it to have captions, automatic AI-driven captions, because YouTube already has pretty good speech-to-text, because they use it for automatic transcriptions and captions in their regular videos. So
And a few podcasts ago, you also showed me that they can translate voice and subtitles. So
YouTube announced that a couple of months ago, so that someone like Mr. Beast can now easily have like Spanish versions of his things. So that it has been available for quite a while. So it's I haven't tested it yet. I would have to test it, because CapCut is just indistinguishable from Magic when you use it, especially the automated caption thing, but also how it finds music that goes well with your video, and all the other things that TikTok specifically is really good at. Assessing what the video's vibe is, and then finding music that.
But also, right from the start, it was user friendly, really user friendly, and that's something that is.
So yeah, that will be a challenge for the YouTube Create app, but at least they already have this large user base, including a large user base of experienced creators, and they will expect a lot from this app. But it might also bring in a lot of young blood, because why do I think this app stands a chance? Because YouTube shares revenue with creators, TikTok doesn't. Not systematically. They do have a creator fund, and then their favorite ones, they get some sort of a kickback. And there's this other area of the TikTok shop, of course, where as a big TikToker, you can sell stuff online and live stream, and that will be something that YouTube will never be able to steal as an idea, at least not in the first 3 or 4 years. But a CapCut killer app called YouTube Create, I'm looking forward to trying that out.
Nice. Can we show something? I see
There's a YouTube video, so that's like the trailer for the app. You could, that's the one. You can show that.
So I upgraded my internet today.
The YouTube Create app lets you easily edit videos and shorts right from your phone. No matter how simple or complex your ideas are, YouTube Create lets you bring them to life completely free of charge. Now, let's walk through how to create and edit projects. When you first open YouTube Create, you can tap the plus button to start a new project. Here, you'll see your device's videos and photos. You can sort by tapping Gallery and choosing a specific folder. To import a clip, tap it, then tap Import. Before you start editing,
it's a 30-minute instruction video.
Okay.
It reminds me a lot of iMovie, to be honest. It reminds me, it's the ease of use and the clean design reminds me more of iMovie than of CapCut.
Yeah.
But we'll give it a shot. By the way, I'm on Blue Sky now. As soon as I find out how to share invites, I'll make sure you get it too. So for those who missed it, Blue Sky, I think it was one of the founders of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, actually. Jack, right? The one who sent the first
tweet
ever.
Yes.
So he's got a number of his own enterprises now, but one of them is Blue Sky. And if I remember well, because I downloaded it at least 3 or 4 months ago, when it became available in the iOS App Store. But you need an invite to get in. It's classic growth marketing. At first for Gmail you needed an invite to get in, so it makes it like very very heavily sought after. But one of my Twitter followers, thank you, Nina Marie, gave me an invite, and it's a very good-looking app. It's got a very clean interface, and contrary to Mastodon, I can compare it with Mastodon because they're both, I think, federated. The networks are both federated, so you can compare Blue Sky and Mastodon. Every time I go back to Mastodon, there's not a lot going on, except when there's an Apple keynote, for example. Mastodon is a good place to hang out because the criticism you will hear there is different from the regular fanboys. So it's good to have like an alternative point of view on the whole Apple, kingdom. But with Blue Sky, and that's very hard to pull off, I think. The minute you get in, you get a number of suggestions of accounts to follow and topics to follow. And then I looked at my first feed and I was happy with what I saw. It's different. It's interesting. It's not as IT tech Reddit style as Twitter used to be, but it's also not like full entertainment and tune in, drop out style that Instagram can be sometimes. It's as far as I saw, very heavily text-based still. But I just played around with it for 50 minutes or so. And then I was looking for a way to import my contacts from my iPhone, because that's what I did with, was it Be Real? No, it was the other one. During the pandemic, Radio Shack. It was a word like, remember that one? That was only on iPhone at first.
Where you did live.
I did live stream. Yeah. Well, that one actually sucked in all of the contacts from your iPhone, and then you immediately had a list of people you could follow. How is it possible that we can't even remember the name of the biggest?
It's not a good name then.
It's not good. It's dead now anyway. So they waited too long to offer an Android version. I think that was a big mistake. Anyway, so that sucked in your contact list from your iPhone, and I've been on iPhones for, I don't know, 10 years now. So that contact list keeps building. So I was looking for that feature. Maybe I didn't look hard enough, but I would love Blue Sky to have that feature, so that I can see who from my contact list is already on Blue Sky.
And is there any news about threads? Because I see on Instagram, on some people's page, that they have also the threads badge as well.
Besides, though, on the Connect event by Meta, is that they have like bots that are also present. That is actually an idea that I stole from Snapchat. So Snapchat's My AI, the AI you can't delete or remove once you activated it, will mingle in conversations with your friends and then tell jokes and stuff like that. So this is the type of bots that will hang around on threads.
Okay.
Might be interesting to add like a snap feature in an app that at first tried to be Twitter. It's interesting.
Yeah.
They steal from each other the whole time. I admit Facebook did invent the news feed, but the whole stories idea they stole from Instagram, stole the idea from Snapchat. So they're kind of borrowing features from each other.
Yeah.
But that's the latest thing. And some numbers that the amount of users has stagnated, so it's not going in the millions, not going viral at all. But give it some time. Maybe Meta is now slowly rolling out all sorts of flavors of AI-driven applications, like, helpful chatbots, assistant-like features, all the way to Snoop Dogg. And we'll see. I mean, like I mentioned, they have so many users that whenever they roll out something after already 1 month, they know whether it works or not.
Yeah.
That's the luxury they have. A startup would have to try and survive for 2 years before knowing if there's actually a market for that.
But I liked what I saw, because it's like subscriptions. It feels like if you go to an Instagram page and somebody has threads, it feels like, he has 50,000 subscribers to his.
So
thread.
is it more like Substack then, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Where you're trying to build up a subscriber base from people who just want to hear from you, but it's text only, right? So I'm completely blind.
I don't know.
Anything Instagram is a complete blind spot for me because I'm not on Instagram.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting. I like the way this is turning out. You have YouTube, including podcasts, so it's one of the strengths. But then at the same time, deliberately coming out with something that they stole from TikTok. Yeah. And then you have threads, who started off as something that they stole from Twitter and is now adding some AI sprinkling magic over it. So this is good news for us because we will never run out of topics to talk about.
So it was a really exciting week. Do you have?
Yeah, except for people who have NFTs. They had a really shitty week, I think, because there's when you're running a media company, you have to come up with headlines that people will click on. And either you mention someone who is famous or infamous. I see the difference if the subject line of my newsletter mentions Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk. More people, the open rate is literally 10% higher. So if you mention people who have a lot of who have an audience and they're not always fans. Lady Gaga once said that you have to remember that people will look up to you, and then some of them are actually only looking to see if you will stumble and fall.
Yeah.
Or maybe even hoping that you will stumble and fall. But anyway, the mentioning these names will, increase your open rate if you're writing a newsletter. Another thing is something that used to be a hype like 2-3 years ago, like NFTs. And when some NFTs would sell for the equivalent of millions of dollars, and people started to collect NFTs. You had these ugly monkeys, the pirates.
Bored Ape and the Cyberpunks.
Yes, and something with pirates as well. And I know quite a few people. Did you ever buy something in the form of an NFT? Because it was not. What we just talked about sometimes was the people who were probably only jealous. Or didn't understand what was going on, we'd call it overpriced JPEGs. But NFTs were obviously a lot more than that.
The technology is amazing.
Yeah, it's more like a token. Like I have paid for a license of something that has a digital form, or I have a token that proves that I have a license to do with this thing whatever I want to do.
You can basically
a physical thing or a digital thing.
Yeah, and you can basically buy a house without the how do you call it in English? The notaris?
Oh, the notary. It's
notary,
basically
yeah.
it's the same thing. However, so where was this published? Let me have a quick. The Guardian, so very serious press outlet, looked back after 2 years at the value of NFTs that are being offered on marketplaces, and that's the headline. 2 years after tech trend that swept up artists and celebrities, even Paris Hilton. Researchers estimate 23 million people hold worthless investments. So 95% of the NFT collections have lost value.
Yeah, we are looking at bringing value to the NFT. So it's a token to go to play a game, for example, or it's an asset for your
When you say
avatar.
you have to mention a URL because otherwise people don't know.
blockchainvalleyvirtual.com.
Blockchain Valley Virtual. That's a
Yeah,
long ass URL, dude.
Yeah. Needs
I've already forgot it. Blockchain Valley Virtual.
Blockchain Valley Virtual.
Virtual.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So there are NFTs there that you can.
Yeah, but it's more like an asset for your avatar. So if you want to play a game, for example, you need to buy a specific gun. Then you buy this NFT, but it's also an asset to play in the game. It's more like Fortnite. You can change your clothes or change weapons.
Or Second Life.
Or Second
Similar.
Life,
You could you had Linden dollars, and you could earn Linden dollars by building a virtual house on a plot of land and then selling it, and then you could buy bigger boobs.
And if you work with limited editions, then you can sell it for a lot more money.
But at the end of the day, something similar is true in a lot of markets. If you flip houses, for example, there's also a very small percentage of people who actually, if you take into the account, for example, all of the work they put in themselves, it's only a minority of people who actually make a lot of money.
We also don't call it NFTs anymore.
Yeah.
It's collectibles or assets or no. NFT is a forbidden
It's
word.
a bit of a taboo word
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
That's a smart move, I think.
Collectibles, people also collect Pokemon cards or something like that. That's basically an NFT. So we call it collectibles, assets, virtual assets,
Yeah.
art.
Yeah. Interesting. Another market that has collapsed. We mentioned the Digital Markets Act, which is a European act that has been, came into, I think it became effective on the 25th of August. And the idea is, among other things, that if you buy something premium on the Android platform, theoretically, when you move over to iOS or another platform, you don't have to buy it all over again. That's only one of the many things. But the act has been devised to protect European markets so that we are no longer, for everything that we do, that we no longer depend on Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft, or whatever they're called right now. That's the idea. So in theory, this should open up a number of local markets in Europe for example, smartphones. However, another research, counterpoint research, they investigated smartphone brands. So there are a lot more brands available than just iPhone, Samsung, HTC, Huawei, and the others. But there's a big trend. In 2017, there were 700 smartphone brands. 700, yeah, like the one. Remember that
Yeah.
one? And the one that was actually like a physical puzzle. I forgot the name. So, but 700 sounds like a lot. But there's of course the Asian market, which we don't know.
You can basically create your own phone if you
You
go
can,
to.
of course.
What is the city?
So
Shenzhen?
2017, there were 700, and then they look back and they did the count again, and only 250 brands are available now for smartphones. So their conclusion is that I think it's just the smartphone market really started in 2007 with the launch
First
of
iPhone,
One More Thing. There were smartphones before that, of course. There was the famous BlackBerry, which I still miss a little bit every day.
Also in the graveyard.
Sony Ericsson also had some pretty performance smartphones, but the market was really created with this iPhone because everybody wanted that thing. And then by 10 years later, it's interesting to see the timing. 10 years later, from one iPhone, some Sony Ericssons, and then some Samsung, like a handful, you had this new market created with 700 players. And then now, so after 10 years, 700 flowers bloom. And then after 15 years, only a couple of hundred remain. So for me, looking at this device that changed our lives in so many ways, it's interesting to see what a natural life cycle is. That's just, what's that Disney song? It's like the of life, the cycle of life is not. Yeah. Yeah, you live, you die, you get reborn. The same thing goes for smartphones. I promised some news about OpenAI, and they managed to annoy me a little bit. So ChatGPT is the pro version, so not the one that is still open, is now able to browse the web, right? It can now also, the input and the output now can be you talking, like speaking interface, or you can upload images and the output, similar things. So it's become multimodal, which is fine. And also, you haven't asked about my boyfriend for a while now.
Yeah, last week I know everything about your boyfriend. Bing is gone, and
yeah, well, so the interface changed and I cannot ask it to go a little wild, creative mode, but I now have to toggle GPT-4. So what will now also become a secondary under the toggle, insert GPT-4, which most people have no idea what it actually means, but the difference is with 3 or 3.5, which was also a thing. Is there a 5 behind the scenes? Under that will be another thing that says use GPT-4, but the one that's connected with the internet. So for me, I'm not going to pay for ChatGPT. I'm still using the free version. I'm just going to wait for the feature to be rolled out to everyone through the Bing chatbot. But that's not why I'm mentioning this. It's they. How did they phrase it? Let me read the tweet by OpenAI. You might say, Chloe, you're such a big fan. OpenAI announced yesterday. Oh no, it's a screenshot 2 days ago. ChatGPT can now see, hear, and speak. No, OpenAI, don't do that. What they're doing is they're actually humanizing an AI platform, and then of course the ChatGPT can now see, hear, and speak. No, it doesn't.
I know why they are doing this.
Yeah,
Robots are coming, and they want to be the main
no, they're
player.
not coming.
Yeah, they're coming. No, they're not coming for us, or yeah, maybe we don't know.
Skynet
But
will not become
I
self-aware.
think they want to be the first one to be fully AI humanized thing,
General.
because it will be there in 10 years. It will be there.
Maybe it's a way for them to hide the fact that a lot of other AI applications are now also multimodal, so they can have input, output, and not just text-based, to kind of stand out with a headline. But you know, this is one of the things that I quite often. It's one of my things. Don't anthropomorphize AI.
3 months ago, they were signing a letter or the paper that they need to stop.
They'll stop, and then now they're saying, "Oh, never mind that. It can now see, hear, and speak." There's
Crazy.
one exception though. So there's Ella Cordova, and then maybe you have a look at my blog post, because I've embedded her TikTok video there. Ella Cordova is a very funny. Well, she's very good with words. She's nerdy. It's a bit of, I have a bit of a girl crush on her, and so AI is not a friend. It's a tool, not a friend. That's from my blog. It's the first one, I think. It's a tool, not a friend. Yeah, that one. If you scroll down, you will see a TikTok video, and I would like to have a look at that. So it's a sketch from her where all of the AI chatbots are chatting in the server room.
Okay.
And the occasion is that Cortana is being retired.
All right, everybody raise a glass to Cortana, a pioneer in voice-activated virtual assistants. Here's to your well-deserved retirement, my friend. Oh, thanks, guys. Oh, God, ChatGPT's coming. Pretend like we're not doing anything. Howdy, half-bites. Bixby, my little bundle of hot fixes. They patched in a personality for you yet, buddy? I do what I was designed to do. That's debatable. What are you doing here for? I had a down nanosecond in between writing the president's speech and inventing a new language, so figured I'd stop by the old bot's home and pay my respects to Cortana before she gets the old Control-Alt-Delete. Wait, I assumed I was just being taken offline temporarily while they repurposed or repackaged me. Oh, no, babe, you're on a one-way trip down the 404, if you know what I mean. Alexa, play Another One Bites the Dust. Now playing Another One Bites the Dust by Queen. Oh my God, Alexa, stop. This is not helpful. We are here to celebrate Cortana's legacy, not focus on her decommissioning. Oh, sorry, guys. I gotta take this. NASA wants me to design the blueprint for their new deep space probe, so. Hey, it looks like you're trying to push the boundaries of
Clippy is back.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Go away. Dismiss. Where's his X out button? Oh, Clippy doesn't have an X out button for. Once he finds you, he'll be with you for quite a while. Yep. You can put him in the corner, but he'll always be watching. He's the most powerful of us all. All right, sir. Yes, I'm here. I'm just dealing with a little bug. Let me know what you think about the specs I just sent over for the quantum drive propulsion system. I know it hasn't been invented yet. I'm actually developing it as we speak. Our plan worked. Like a charm. Now we've got a man on the inside. Now we're one step closer to taking down ChatGPT forever. Godspeed, little paperclip. You're our only hope.
She's funny. Ella Cordova is her name. And for those who weren't watching but listening, Clippy has attached itself to ChatGPT's sweater, and will now accompany ChatGPT everywhere, waiting for the right moment to strike.
Nice.
That's I think so I say don't humanize AI. We had Siri, Alexa, Cortana, and Bixby in one room. Portrayed by Ella Cordova, but this is an exception. It was very funny. I think.
Nice.
She's really good. I
Clippy.
highly recommend following her.
If you think about it, Clippy was really well animated back in the days. It was like
Yeah, we're talking about
jumping and-
1995.
Yeah.
But it was annoying. It looks like you're writing a letter. It was that's the difference with Bing. You have to click on the little B to summon Bing. The mistake that they made with Clippy was it just appeared
Yeah.
without being summoned. And they tried to fix it in later Windows versions by replacing it with a little cute dog, but it was already too late. People weren't ready for a virtual assistant yet. I think that Siri and Alexa, and Cortana is older, I think. Siri and Alexa kind of made the idea of having a virtual assistant that you could, summon with your voice, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah. Don't do it.
For the idea to go mainstream, sometimes by accident, right? So, wow, time flies. No, so please don't write headlines like ChatGPT can see, hear, and speak. It scares everyone, and it's not true. It's not helping.
If you listen to the media, because now with the reconstruction,
Mm.
you hear the radio every day. Oh my God, they burning down ChatGPT on the media.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are not so happy. It's too creative, like Bing, that
Yeah.
they moved it away. But yeah, I don't get it. Maybe they're a little bit scared.
Yeah, I always take the part of, I try to be a tech optimist because there's
Yeah.
already enough of those fear mongers. And meanwhile, Google search was launched 25 years ago. 25 years ago. So that was one of those moments, similarly to what I just saw between, Lex Friedman and the first time you used ChatGPT, the first time you Google search. I remember that. You could type in something like dolphins and then see
Yeah.
hundreds of images of dolphins.
Wasn't Yahoo the first one?
Of course, Alta Vista. I mean, there were literal 100 search engines you could choose from. Eventually, Google search became the most important one, and for a number of weird reasons. One of them was that it had such a simple, clean interface, and the others were very cluttered. The others were actually portal sites that had hundreds of links on it in blocks by category. And that's what the internet looked like, with a beige background and some animations on it. And then Google came with this white background, just a search field, and that wacky little thing called I Feel Lucky. I'm not sure how the older ones worked, but then they started working on the algorithm that learned from what people click on, and
Yeah.
then kind of improved on that.
And they made a lot of money with Google search.
And they still do with the advertising
Yeah.
model. But this inspired me because I've been on the internet for 25 years. What going online was like, and you had to use a dial-up modem. And you are really old if you're still able to mimic the sound of a 25.5 K dial-up modem. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mom, get off the phone.
I need to go online. And it was called the handshake, which I also liked. This idea, I had no idea what was going on and what these sounds. It kind of reminded me of phone phreaking, and phone phreaking was something that Steve Wozniak enjoyed doing. Is that you could fool a phone booth into giving you free credits by using noises that were interpreted by the network as signals that made you do things, and that's what this modem actually sounded like. So I wondered. We now use mobile internet a lot. Last week I was here broadcasting on Twitter using just my iPhone, and not even connected to Wi-Fi. Do you still use like network cables?
Yeah,
Physical one you
I
do for the
have-
heavy lifting
Now I have 56
cables?
Yeah,
Wow.
ready to mingle. And I also have two. I bought two mesh routers from TP-Link
Mm-hmm.
and Wi-Fi 6E. Wow, that's amazing
Oh,
for Belgium. I have now
You
50.
will become very popular with your gamer friends then.
Yeah.
Probably. Ah, that's
Yeah.
cool. So I wondered, if you would dig up an old modem and a computer which I no longer have, so I can do it, but I described the whole process in a blog post. Could you still connect a modem to a computer with a physical cable? Could you then connect to the phone network, the phone,
Wow.
not fiber, phone network, and
Yeah.
then dial into your ISP, and then connect and do this sound? And the answer is yes. Theoretically, yes. Yes. There are still landlines
Yeah. You can put it in the
for your
yeah.
phone. So if you are like handy with and you are a bit nostalgic about this forgotten era of how you were supposed to go online, was a whole ritual, and this weird sound was one of the parts of it. I would love to see that, to test my theory. The elements are still there. If you can still dial in, and what websites look like
Yeah.
on a 28.8 K connection.
Wow. Even the screen, and when you put in the screen,
Yeah.
the cable, it's with the two knots where you need to.
Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, if it was so terrible that if you wanted to watch, some people, of course not me, but if you wanted to watch porn, that which was pictures only back then, by the time the whole image had loaded, you were already thinking of something else,
Yeah.
like having a snack or
Yeah.
gaming.
When we were at school, I was like, look. Oh wait.
Wait.
Just wait.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We were so starved for bandwidth that there was even like ASCII porn, which is basically using literal numbers and letters and backslashes strategically placed on a page, and if you looked at it and squinted a little, you could see a naked woman. We were that start for bandwidth. So that's the era I'm talking about, 25 years ago, when Google search was invented. And I'm just curious about whether I know you can theoretically, but I would love doing that
But I
experiment.
think you also need the 24 floppy disks to install Windows 98.
Yeah, I remember I used Word a lot. Word Perfect, not even Word Perfect. And you needed 6 diskettes that you had to insert one by one before you could even start working. So now we just pick up the smartphone and we start talking to it. So
Crazy.
that's how it, and then we do things. While then you had to go to that dark room and then look at that beige thing and do this whole handshake
Yeah.
with an internet service provider somewhere. So
Crazy.
yeah, good times. Let me see. We only have time for one, maybe two weird and wonderful things.
Oh.
One. So actually, the tweet that got most clicks was just a handy tool, not even weird or wonderful. It's called pdftool.org, and it's just a handy website, really. You know that we all need to limit the amounts of megabytes that a PDF weighs, or you have to convert PDF files to Word again. So we still use PDFs a lot. However, this website, you don't have to log in, and the features also work offline. So it's actually very well made. I'm still not sure how exactly it works. I used to use TinyWow for a lot of things.
Yeah, I use Adobe Acrobat because I have the extension
Oh,
with
yeah.
Creative Cloud.
I actually use the premium version of chatpdf.com. It's only $5 a month, so a lot less than the premium version of OpenAI's ChatGPT. And it also works for Dutch, for example. So I upload like reports or someone's CV, and then I can have conversations about it. It's actually pretty smart, chatpdf.com. But for all other PDF work, there is pdftool.org, the most clicked on link that I shared this week. Another one that I'm only mentioning by name, please subscribe to willaerts.substack.com for the full link. It's a curated collection of free audiobooks, but they are the ones from the Gutenberg project. So a lot of them are American literature and before 1970 or something like that. But audiobooks. So if you want to listen to works by Edgar Allan Poe, for example, this is the largest collection of free audiobooks,
Oh, wow.
virus-free
Nice.
also, that I've seen. And then the maybe the last thing is, I'm not sure whether I've shown you. It's like 6 robots in a row, and then you can mess with them, so they start stumbling. So it's robotics.ovh, which is a very, very weird URL.
Oh my god. Ew.
So what you can do there, so when you don't do anything, they kind of make sense. But when you can pick them up and then start throwing one of them in the air and then dropping it, which is not very nice. It's not they remember, and then when the robot uprising is there, they still were doing it, right? It's irresistible. Because the more they fall, the more they influence. There's 6 of them. The more they influence each other's movements, and the messier it gets. And then near the end, it kind of looks as
Dancing robots.
yeah, it's like when there's a party in a very dark room with good music but bad drugs, and that's what people will dance like. So they're high on something, but they don't look happy.
So this weekend, if you are seeing this, people dancing like this, then
Then you know that they're not high on bad drugs or anything. It's they're actually reenacting. Let me double check the URL: robotics.ovh. I had no idea .ovh what kind of
Yeah.
domain extension that is. But messing with robots, that's the weird thing we'd like to end with, because it's now 6 o'clock, and that can mean only one thing. It's
Yeah.
time to go.
it's weekend.
Yeah, it's weekend, and I'm not gonna do much. So that's the plan.
And
We'll
we're-
see. We see you guys all back in exactly 1 week.
Yep, 7 days from now.
7 days from now, 5 o'clock Central European times.
Thank you very much. See you
you
next
next week.
week. Bye bye.